Hey, what's going on, fam? Hey, this your boy D Wheels. I'm gonna make this video here about should you get started in the trucking business as an owner operator, whether you call it lease purchase, it's your own authority or whatever, and you starting out from scratch, meaning you don't have a truck, you don't have a trailer. Okay. My answer is gonna be no. Now I know sometimes people will say, well, why you gonna tell me no? You know, or they say, people try to tell me no, and then I ask them how long they've been in the business, and they say 10 years. I'm like, well, it must be something good you've been in it 10 years. Okay? Don't take that as somebody trying to give you false information. Okay? Because if we make this like a relationship, just put it on the same, in the same vein as you was asking somebody about their relationship. Alright, put it in the same vein as if you was asking somebody about their relationship. The camera had stopped and froze up, I believe. Alright, so in the beginning of the relationship, everything might have been great. Okay? Everything might have been great. Maybe up to, the first 7 years, everything was great. Okay? So in the last 2 years, maybe the relationship started taking a downturn. Okay? So if you ask them about their relationship, or you thinking about getting married or whatever, and you ask them what they think about it, well, they're liable to tell you, man, I wouldn't do it, man. Because they're telling you of how things are right now. So they're telling you, man, I wouldn't get into a relationship right now based on the way I see things, in my relationship or whatever. So if you ask them how long they've been in it and they say 10 years, that don't mean, saying they're trying to discourage you or all these 10 years have been good and that's why they're still in it. No. Like, okay, trucking, same way. Trucking 5 years ago, 10 years ago, man, trucking was great. We're still on paper logs. The freight rates were where they needed to be. You could really put money back and, really trick your truck out like how you wanted to and get your loads there, go to sleep when you needed to, run when you needed to. Things were great, okay? So now things are not the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter how long a driver been in it. I've been in it about 9 to 10 years as an owner operator, right? But if you ask me right now, that's why my advice right now is saying no. Right now, the market is very volatile. It's very volatile right now, and we're at overcapacity. Okay, overcapacity. Overcapacity simply means you have more available trucks than there is freight. Okay, and the more and more people that jump into it, only thing you're doing is you are watering down. If the freight market and everything was dark green or red or whatever, the more and more you jump into it thinking you're gonna go out here and make this quick money, you dilute the color. You dilute the color. It turns more pinkish, 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 pinkish. That means each person gets a smaller piece of the pie. Because now, because of supply and demand, and then pause it again, it jumped off. Okay, I had to pause it. Because of supply and demand, the more trucks you have available versus the amount of freight. If you got way more trucks than freight, then the freight rates go down. If you got way more freight than trucks, then the rate goes up. Okay, because they are fighting for your trucks. When it's the other way around, the trucks are fighting for the freight. And then the trucks have to go into a bidding war for the small amount of freight. It's better when the freight has to go into a bidding war for the small amount of trucks. Okay, right now we are over capacity, meaning there are way more trucks that have to fight for the freight. Therefore, the rate goes down because the brokers know it. Okay, so let's not get that twisted. Nobody's telling you not to jump out here just because they're trying to hate on you and trying to keep you from doing your thing. I mean, hey, get on out there and do your thing if you want to, but you cannot overcome the math of the whole situation. Your feelings are one thing, but the math and how the economy is something totally different. Okay, so if you want to jump out there right now, I would suggest you jump out there. Just be a company driver. Be a company driver. Wait this storm out, because it's a storm right now. It's a recession in the trucking rates. You may find a few people here and there that, you know what I'm saying, they may be on YouTube or whatever, bragging about this and that and this and that, and it may sound like, you know, they doing this and doing that. You got to keep in mind, people make certain videos to pull you in for the views and everything like this. It may not mean they're telling you the truth. It means they're trying to stay relevant and, you know what I'm saying, get you clicking on this, liking and all that stuff right there. Honestly, I don't care if you click like, share, or whatever. I'm just giving you the real of what it is, okay? I've been out here, like I said, 9 or 10 years with my own truck, trailer, and authority. Okay? I don't have no reason to lie to you. I already told you in other videos, I don't get on here telling you all my business and my plugs or whatever, because I ain't stupid. As I said in my last video, I can't give away the secret herbs and spices, man. No, man, I can't tell you them 11 herbs and spices, home. Colonel Sanders don't tell you them 11 herbs and spices, do it? Okay, right? So, that's the business side of things. Don't be running your mouth all the time. But at the same time, I'm not going to get on here and give you some false information and tell you that, oh yeah, man, all you got to do is just get you a truck, get your authority, and jump on out there, you know what I'm saying? And you ain't going to be able to, you know what I'm saying, for the first 2 or 3 months, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to run for this broker and that broker because you're brand new and all that. Even when you get past that point, you see what I'm saying? Even when you get past that point where other brokers and stuff will start dealing with you, they still dealing with a great pool of drivers, you know what I'm saying, and the freight is not there, and so they still dealing with an overcapacity of trucks. And so your rate is still going to be low, because if you don't take it, somebody else going to take it, because they've been sitting for 2 or 3 days. Okay? And that's just the bottom line. So right now, no. I'd be a company driver, or I'd go local, do some food service or something like that right there. Okay, you got to come out of that dream talking about you want to be a truck driver and all that stuff right there. I mean, you can be a truck driver, but start out as a company driver, work that for a little while, let this storm blow over, okay? And Lord knows if you about to leave the house, you're a married man or woman, and you about to leave the house out here chasing on some dream, and you trying to convince the other one at the house about this dream you got to go out there and be this big truck driver, this big owner, you know. Oh, you about to fool yourself, and you about to break up some stuff at the house. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because the freight ain't popping out here like that. And even to make any financial sense, you have to stay on the road 30 days at a time. So look, I'm just keeping it 100. Or 99, 99.5, however you want to call it. Now is not the time. Even these big companies will try to push you into these mega carriers. Even as a company driver, they'll try to push you into a lease purchase program. Why? Because that's the best thing for them to do. They already got it figured out. If they can let you make the truck payment, if they can make you put the fuel in the truck, make you have an escrow that pays for the maintenance of the truck, what? That's their main expenses right there. So now they got a new driver and brand new equipment for their customer. You toting all the responsibilities, and they still making their profit because they already figured out the contract before they had you sign it. They still making their profit. They got their customer because the customer requires new equipment on those accounts. So they got new equipment on those accounts that you're paying for, all because they got in your mind and told you you can make a few more dollars than you was making as a company driver. But yet you got all those expenses. You better listen to your boy Wheels. I don't have no fancy editing or none of that stuff right there, but this is the realest. This is the realest you gonna get right here. No hating, baby. No hating at all. Just giving you the raw truth about what it is. Don't break up your house or none of that mess there chasing after these miles right now. Because things are jacked up out here. Things are jacked up out here. I got drivers who've been driving for 15, 20 years who run Bronx, Connecticut, Maine, Brooklyn. They run Chicago, Wisconsin. They run all them areas. And what I mean by that I mean they ain't scared to go nowhere. So wherever the freight normally would be popping, they'll be going to get it. They be calling me. and say, Wheels, what's going on out here, man? Things ain't never been like this. I'm telling you, this economy right now, they may not be saying nothing about it on the news, because you know how that is. They control the news. They control what you getting. You see what I'm saying? They control what you getting on that news. Okay? But things ain't popping like that. There may be a few people, like I said, that may have a few little contracts here and there, little whoop-de-whoop here and there. But for the most part, us out here doing this thing on the regular, we know them rates ain't there, baby. So don't you jump out there with no new truck payment, new trailer payment. First of all, you probably ain't even gonna be able to get qualified because the finance places done raised up the rates on everything because they already know there's a good chance that truck gonna come back to them on a repo. So they done raise up the rates, interest rates, and raise up how you have to qualify in order to make sure if you get that truck, you best believe you put down about 20% plus a maintenance fund. And this buying it from the dealership. You better take this advice. D Wheels don't spit no bullshiggity. He keeps it real. And that's it. No fancy editing, none of that right there. In your face. Bam! Out.